Hello everyone, this is Ashish and welcome back to our podcast. It's good to be back after a long time, although there was a recent Momentum podcast out there, but still, I agree that I'm not posting at the same frequency anywhere near as I was like 2 to 3 years ago. But time passes by, this is a different phase of my life, and I think it's best for all of us. This is the most authentic content you're ever going to get because I don't really have any stake over here, no pressure to get a lot of numbers on this YouTube channel. I'm just doing it so that the community that I worked to build for the past 7 years or so still has some questions. And those are the questions which I've compiled in front of me. 3 to 4 days ago, I made a community post asking you guys to put your questions and basically the topics that you'd want me to discuss. And I got plenty, way more than what I can be able to discuss in this podcast, but that's fine. The quantity does not matter. The quality is something you are always going to get on our podcast. Now, one small mention, we are very close to reaching our 200, so I want to do something special for this 200th episode of our podcast, and you can put your suggestions of what you expect and what you suggest down below. But I was thinking like I can do a lot of one-on-ones with you, like a video call, and compile them all to make a podcast. In that, I can answer your questions face to face. And also, if you want to share something on this platform, I can open it for you for this 200th episode. I think that's what I should do for this community that has helped me so much and helped me grow so much, where I've helped this community grow so much. That's what I at least like to think. Now, other opinions and suggestions down in the comment section, what you think we should be doing on the 200th episode of our podcast. It has been a long journey, guys. I started it in 2020. So it's also like 5th year anniversary or something. I don't even remember the first podcast. I'm sure someone can find out the first date of publishing. Now coming to the topics of discussion for this episode. The first one is compilation of 3 questions, but all of them revolve around what is the mindset of an average person that turns him or her into someone extraordinary. Let me read out a couple of them and you are going to get more idea of what I mean. Number 1 by Danish Kumar. Bhaiya, just tell us how you were able to level up yourself from low tier college and transforming yourself to the best version, and how did you transform yourself to become study oriented when in class 12 you're playing video games. All right, please make a dedicated video to share the journey of a village boy with Desi accent to such a dream milestone for others, and you lived it. And I must mention the feedback for the book The Boy Who Did Not Sign. It really describes the transformation, but we want to hear in your voice. Like I said, yes, you are going to get in my voice, especially because this book does not have an audiobook. So the podcast should cover for it. And the third and the final leg to the tripod. What is the mindset required when you are trying to build something on your own? I'm scared of failures while trying to build something of my own. Currently, I'm working in job. How to get better at talking to people and social skills. All right, so all of this, like I said, revolves around the same idea, average to extraordinary. And that was also one of the questions that I got in my Chennai seminar 2023. That was like, how does an average student become a topper? All along the same line. It can be in academics, it can be in sports, it can be in entertainment. It all boils down to the mindset. And I think that there are a lot of things in this world which people think is white or black, but it really is not. Let me give you an example. Failure and success. People think that there's such a solid line between both of these. Like if you're successful, everything that you did so far to get to this point was right, and I want to replicate all of those to become successful myself. I know this question because so many people just ask me the blueprint to become an ISRO scientist or to become a BARC scientist or to become a topper or to whatever their goal is, if they see that I've already done it, they just ask me, tell me exactly what you did, down to when you woke up, when you used to wake up every day, or when did you sleep, how many hours did you sleep, what did you study, what were your resources, which coaching institute would you go to, and all of these questions that they think all I need to do is replicate. And if you're a failure, everything that you did to get to this point was wrong and nothing should be copied at any cost. When the reality is, it's just that a person who succeeded at something did most of the things right. And there were some mistakes, but was not strong enough to cause a failure over there. Or there's so many factors that comes into the picture. For example, a football team wins a match on a particular day. That team made a lot of mistakes on that night as well. But the congregation of all of that turned into a victory. Another team did a lot of things right too, but compilation of all of that turned into a failure. But that does not mean the winner does not learn from his victories by understanding what were the mistakes which cannot be repeated, or next time it is going to cost him or that team. Or the loser does not carry forward the things that they did right so that they can just build upon that. And this is what I learned from my two failed attempts at Indian Space Research Organization written tests, that, I failed both of these times. But both of these times I saw increments in my performance. My strategy is working out. It's just that I need one last push. Rather than saying that all of it was wrong, let's start from the scratch. And that's not the way of building towards getting something that you want. And that's what I did in the first attempt to the second attempt to the third attempt where I finally got in. So the demarcation between failure and success and right and wrong, as if it is white and black, is so wrong when it comes to the mindset of everybody who is trying to do something right. Or this is so wrong, which is taught to you as you are growing up, that becomes a problem. Other things like, hey, you have a very bright future, right? For example, if you were academically doing good throughout your school life, everybody tells you that, you're going to do great, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you should be working for IITs, or you should be doing this. And people who were like the backbenchers and they did not perform well, they're, this guy is not going to do anything. There's a famous story that I once said about how there was a tuition teacher in my 10th standard who said something in my tuition class that this guy is going to do this, and like, people who went through that video know what it was. I do not want to repeat it over here. But yeah, people are very quick to judge based on past experiences or current performance of what a person is going to do. But like, right now I'm 31 years old, and I've been seeing this back and forth since I was 18 at least, when I started to actually look at the world from my own eyes, and I saw so many people who were like, they had engraved on their head that this guy is excellent and is made for freaking brighter pastures, and this guy is going to do good, or this girl is going to do great, and they do nothing. Throughout their life, they are always like, eventually when they're 24, 25, when they actually step foot into the real world just forgets about it, because the world has got some new shiny kid with some trophy, like, this guy is going to do great, and nobody really looks at it in the long term. What I'm talking about is, there's always this, like, someone starts to pick pace at some point, and someone starts to retard at some point, someone starts to accelerate at some point, but nobody can actually tell who is going to do better, who is going to do worse. I don't know how clear I am about this, but what I'm trying to say is that you getting a gold medal has nothing to do with you actually doing well in life 10 years later. You failing in physics in 11th standard has nothing to do with whether you will become a scientist at ISRO or not. That's what I'm trying to get at. But At that point where you have actually gotten a gold medal or you have actually failed in physics, at that very point, the world is going to talk to you in a certain manner that you do not have in you, or you're not capable of this, or you can achieve this thing, you cannot achieve of this thing. At that point, that's the point that I'm talking about. That's the point you need to change the perspective of failure and success, which is black and white, taught to you by the world, but is not that way in reality. And that was the mindset that helped me to go through those barriers where the world was talking in a certain manner, but I knew the reality. Like similarly, when I was talking about ISRO first 2 attempts, the world has one voice. Oh, you're not good enough to become a scientist at ISRO. ISRO had one voice. Oh, you're not good enough to join my organization. But I constantly saw improvement. I saw that, oh, I was failing in physics in standard 11 just 5 years ago. And now I'm very close to cracking ISRO. I'm just 25 marks away from cracking ISRO written test. Next attempt, I'm just 4 marks away from cracking ISRO written test. Next attempt, oh, I cracked it with 10 surplus points. Oh, I went ahead for the interview and I qualified with All India rank of 4. So that was my voice. But if you are looking for external voices to validate your opinion or your suggestion about yourself, it's always going to be that black and white, failure or success. Could you do it or could you not? Because here's how the world operates. The world will look at population of 100,000. And out of that, it needs to pick, say, 40. And all right, give me a white or black criteria. Which one do I pick? Which one I don't? So, okay, these were all pass, 40 of them, oh, I picked it. So the world likes to look at you like that. You don't have a name, you don't have a passion, you don't have an ambition, you don't have anything unique. You are just a number. And the world, it becomes easy for the world to just look at the numbers to pick a number. So that's why if you look for those kind of inputs from the external world, you are never going to make anything happen because they just speak in a holistic manner, a very macroscopic view. But when you look at yourself microscopically, you have to judge those things on your own, not looking at the straight demarcation between failure and success, not looking at the rigid criterias of who's going to be successful and who's not going to be successful, but from your point of view, what you need to do incrementally. Like obviously we would want everything right now, right? My first attempt of GATE in 2016, I prepared for it for a year and I wanted to get to IIT Bombay right there. I wanted to be in IIT Bombay in 2016, but it took more time. So what I'm saying is realistically, if you look at it, you have to just find out what you need to do. And that's where, again, my idea of how failure is nothing different than success comes into the picture, that in 2016, let's say you fail, or let's say today in 2025, let's say you fail at something. Well, you have to be good enough to embrace that, oh, it is just an experience. Now I need to analyze that experience and find out where I was lacking. It might be possible that you are not lacking in absolutely anything. There are so many people who fails at some great endeavors that they're having. It might be examinations, it might be starting a company, it might be writing a book, it might be whatever. There are so many people who fail at what they're trying to do after doing everything right. And this might come as news to you because right now what I said was that the common consensus is that, oh, you failed, you did everything wrong. And then I said that no, you did most of the things wrong. Learn and keep and carry forward the things that you did right. And now I'm saying that you might have failed even after doing everything right. And that is possible. Then why the hell did you fail? Why didn't you make it? Well, was it that, there was some corruption? Or it was just bad luck? Or you got into a car accident on your way to your important interview? What happened? Well, you did everything right. Nothing bad happened. There was no corruption, but you have to do everything right for a little longer. Now, I made a community post a few days back, and whenever I make these community posts, it's just a thought that is going on in my head. And based on my experience, if I think that, I learned it then and it helped me a lot and maybe it will help my audience, then I'll post it. So let me just read it out. It was 4 weeks ago at this point. So I wrote, I'm here to tell you that even after giving everything you have, doing your absolute best, and trying with every last ounce of energy in your body, there are 100 ways in which you can fail. But it is the only way you have a chance to win a fair fight. So that's what I'm saying. Even if you did everything right and it did not work out for whatever reason, there's so many variables to make anything happen. And also, even if you did everything right, sometimes it just needs more time. Like you have to keep doing everything right longer. I had to do it for 3 years constantly to get into ISRO. And there's so many other examples. Like this book took 5 years. The other book that I'm writing right now, which is going to come after this, is already in its third year at this point. I think it's in second year. It's going to go into its third year too. And I'm doing everything right, but gotta keep on doing that, right? Let's see what was the first question over here, because I'm sure that there were a few questions down below which I never cleared out. But then how come toppers perform so consistently without fail? Now here's the thing about toppers, and I want the toppers to take it just as a feedback and not as an offense, because it is going to hurt a little bit. But I assure you, like topper or failure, if you are my audience, all I want is things to get better for you. If things are super good right now already, I still want it to be better. And a lot of toppers can learn from what I'm going to say right now. And I also know that most of my audience are actually academically good, at least the ones who stayed over here for long. Either it is like my content helped them to become good, or they're good and serious, so they consume content like this, right? So I understand like at least 50 to 60% of the audience is actually academically good. Rest can be, but take it with the most positive attitude that you can. And what I mean is that toppers do perform consistently well, but at the same time, they're doing the same thing again and again. So if someone is academically gifted or talented or spent a lot of time to become academically good, it becomes a routine work for them. I know this because I was a poor student academically till senior secondary, and then it was a very steep climb for me to become an academically excellent student in my college in my first semester, when I scored 9.42 CGPA for the first time, did anything above like 70%, even 60% in my academic performance. It was a steep climb for me in the first semester. Second semester it was difficult, and then it was like in cruise control. So once you become academically excellent, you just know how to do well in this game. So my urge to academically good students would be like, you have to learn how to fail. If you don't, then that's going to be a problem, because the moment you will try something new and you fail, you'll just revert back to your same old ways. And that again is not growth. You are at a very good point, much higher than most of the academically poor students. Probably you went to a good university, probably got a good job. That's all well and good. But if you are not facing soul crushing failures, that is a problem. in your growth cycle, because you are not growing. You're just doing things that you're comfortable in. So people who are not performing that well academically, and they're seeing failures after failures, and they're seeing academically gifted people just doing it without much effort. And without much effort is important, because the first time I was trying to work hard in college to perform well in academics, that's what I saw. Like, people who are not putting that much effort still outperform me any day of the week, and they just do it by reflex because they're just good at it. It took me some time to become good at it, and when I did, it became easy for me as well. Now, lessons to both academically good and academically bad people, or in general, even for non-academic things. The great thing about you failing again and again, if you're poor at what you're trying to do, is that you become extremely comfortable with failures. That's what you do every day. Every day you're humiliated. Every day you go over there, you find people better than you. That brings down your humility as well. You like to learn more and more, and then you go ahead and you fail again. That means that you are not afraid to try. The exact opposite happens to people who are excelling at what they are doing. If they are doing the same thing again and again for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, decades many times, but they are not failing at all, their ego bloats, and also they start to try and restrain themselves to the places they are very comfortable at. For example, very rarely you'll see that a guy who has always been academically gifted tries anything out of their way. Like, I started to focus at my academics when I was 18 years old, right? By the time I was 23, I took a huge leap outside academics. At that point, I was a former scientist at Department of Atomic Energy, scientific officer we call it. I had been through BARC training school in nuclear science and engineering, and I had qualified Indian Space Research Organization with All India rank for all academics excelling in the scientific and technical field. And I took a leap outside that, started a YouTube channel, and decided that I will write a book. Why was I able to do something so much out of my comfort zone? I was so comfortable in that zone of competitive examination. The most convenient thing I could have done is start a coaching institute, because now I have name, I have a following, make a lot of money, and life is easy. But I went completely opposite to the things that nobody asked me to do, the things that I had no training or experience in. And I was able to do it because all my life I was constantly facing failures and failures and failures. It was all like, you're not good for anything. And that means that I'm not afraid of trying, because I'm not good anyways, right? So I'm going to try. Give me examples of people who have constantly been academically gifted and they have done good in academics, and they're still ready to do something completely unconventional out of their way, out of academics. And those who have done it, my salute to them, because that's what I'm preaching over here. You should be doing things you're not comfortable at. So that's what I'm saying. Like, academically gifted people and academically poor people, you both need to learn something. Academically poor people, you think that I'm good for nothing, but this is the freaking superpower of failure that you're developing constantly. And you need to admit that you are more open to risks and challenges than people who have become super convenient or comfortable of what they are doing. Like, everybody is praising, their parents are praising, their classmates are praising them. Why would they change? Why would they risk it, right? So they are not so much prone to taking risks, which I think it's just an opinion, they should start to walk a little bit out of. And I'm pretty sure many of them are doing it, but the numbers are extremely small. And that is, again, an added bonus, since the number of people doing that is so small. If you did it, if you also gained the superpower of being comfortable with failure, think of what you can do. All those people who have been AAA, freaking topper in 10, topper in 12, gold medalist in university, went to MBA to IIM, and now got the top class 80 lakh rupees per annum kind of job, right? think about it. Why do you feel you're plateaued now? There's something different you need to start doing. All right, so what did we actually talk about? Well, be very wary of the rigid criteria of the world, the failure and success in white and black, and picking this guy is going to make and this guy is not, and if you are failing, then you're doing something wrong. All of those things, and being comfortable with failing, trying new things, that's what ultimately helps you break through a lot of barriers and elevate yourself as a person. Now, we can also call it like improving your career, because the whole objective of Art Podcast is to help you have a good life through your career. But also, career a lot of times is climbing the corporate ladder, or climbing the bureaucratic ladder, or just fooling a lot of people to get what you want. But it could also mean you improving and polishing your skills, becoming better. And for doing that, you are going to need to break away from the rigid mindset that you have been taught so far. You have to be very comfortable with failure, and failure or success or good or bad or whatever you have done so far, regardless, you have to keep on hoping for better things, keep on trying for things you really want. And I don't have to give you a lecture to tell you about what you want, neither I can, because you already know it. You know very well what you want. Like, for example, at one point of time, I knew very well that I wanted to become a scientist at ISRO, and so I did it. At one point, I knew very well that I need to publish a book, so I went out of my comfort zone and did it. And at one point, I knew very well that I wanted to experience living in America, so I went out of my way and did it. So regardless of what you want, which you already know, you should start taking steps and actions to do it. That itself is going to improve yourself, your career, your income, and your lifestyle. Also, I have a page of The Boy Who Did Not Sign which talks about exactly this. I noted over here, page 148. It should be very relatable, especially you have gone through the whole talk. Let's just start reading from the beginning. You do get a replay in life, and this chapter is so much oriented towards failure. I have took out few other paragraphs. Remember, Ashwin goes to the beach and talks about like none of these sharks are going to care about whether I win or lose, right? This is also from the same chapter, but I've never read it out, so pay attention. Meanwhile, just getting directly into middle of a paragraph because this is the important part. Meanwhile, taking a look at my consequences, I had rupees 70,000 in my bank account and had accumulated rupees 2,50,000 of bond amount so far. Was at the bottom of academy. I had been repeatedly rejected by every girl I liked and every job I wanted. Not one person close to me, broke, single, unemployed, and alone. But why is it then that I felt more in control than ever? I thought control marches on the drum beats of power. Maybe I had been thinking wrong. I was already a loser in everyone's eyes, and thus for the first time I had no burden to impress anyone. All I knew was that it's possible for me to become an ISRO scientist, for everyone to be wrong and for me to be correct. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it is very possible that everyone is wrong. Like, at one point, everyone was wrong that Earth is not flat. Why can't everyone be wrong about your capacity? Why can't everyone be wrong about how much you're worth? That is entirely possible. Matter of fact, anyone who actually was eventually deemed worthy by the world was at one point told that they were not worth it. And they pushed themselves through that point. We underestimate events with low probability too much. We should not, for it is possible for it to occur. And as low as the chance might be, once it does, its probability shoots to 1. I love this one because that's the thing about probability, right? People fucking do these things, man, where they say, oh, only 3% of artists are millionaires. Oh, 70% of millionaires are CEOs or something like that, right? And they say that, oh, then choose your path very wisely. Like, this is the probability of you becoming a millionaire if you become an artist. Oh, 3%. Rather, start your own company. Oh, 40%, whatever the number is, right? But the world does not really work in probability for you. Even if 99% of UPSC aspirants becomes millionaires, just saying, all right? Even if 99% of UPSC aspirant becomes millionaires, it doesn't mean that you becoming a UPSC aspirant will also make you a millionaire, because there's 1% who doesn't, right? And you can easily turn into that 1%. And saying that, oh, only 3% of artists turn into a millionaire, not saying that becoming a millionaire is a symbol of success, just saying if that is your target, then you become an artist. There's just a 3% chance, and everybody tells you not to do it, but you very well might be in that 3%. So your probability turned from 0.003 to 1 all of a sudden as soon as you become a millionaire, or your record hits, or you became successful, or you became New York Times bestseller or something, right? So the probability does not mean jack shit. Because in either side, as low as the probability might be, you still have a chance. You still have a shot. And as high as the probability of success might be, there's still a chance of failure. So nothing means nothing until it is all said and done. So I don't know why people talk in terms of that. Anyways, coming back to the topic today, this, I think, got enough amount of time. Most of your questions should have been answered by this point. And if they are not, please put it down in the comment section. It might pop up in the upcoming podcasts. All right. Now, moving to the next one. It's a rapid fire kind of question. There are a bunch of questions that I felt could be answered very quickly. So I compiled it over here to answer them fast and easy. Okay, first one. What to do, sir, if someone consistently fails in competitive examination for 5 years? Is give up now any option? Or I think Rizwan means that is giving up now is an option. Yes, quit right now. This is not giving up. This is just a strategic move. I'm not telling you to quit on your life. I'm not telling you to stop trying anything in future. All I'm saying is this competitive examination should not be given more than 2 years at any cost. 3 years is an overkill. 5 years, definitely get the fuck out of this, man. And if someone is asking me this 5 days ago, then for sure is new to the channel, because I've been saying this since 2018. Do not get stuck in the spiral of competitive examination. I shouldn't even be answering this question for how much I've said it already in the past 7 years, but I'm answering this because this can actually save career of 5 people, and that is good enough. You need to hear it from someone. If you have been preparing for competitive examination for 3 years, you've given 3 years worth of attempts and it did not work out, then you need to quit right now. Do something else. Why you need to do it right now? Because this is not building any form of skill in the industry, and so whether you make it or not, you are going to start from the ground zero. If you make it, that's actually the best case scenario. If you don't make it today or 5 years later, you're going to walk out with no skills. All right. And at some point you need to get into the industry and maybe give another attempt some other day. Maybe you're doing something drastically wrong. I've made a bunch of strategies on competitive examinations. Maybe you're doing something wrong over there in the sense of strategy. It's never that your brain is not smart enough for this examination. I've always said that. This examination does not require talent at all. There's something in terms of strategy. 5 years is more than sufficient time. If you're not doing it right, then better get out of here. Eventually, when you finally figure it out, like I should say that just watch my videos and you'll find out what you're doing wrong. But probably you have not done that already, and you're probably not planning on. I'm saying that you're definitely doing something wrong, and someday you'll figure it out. When you do figure it out, maybe give it another shot. The good thing about competitive examinations is that age is not that big of a deal unless you're like 31 years old. Alright, since this is a rapid fire, I'll not go in detail and explain myself much. This is my opinion, that's it. Moving forward to the next one, Manish Kumar asks, Bhaiya, please tell us about your religious beliefs and spiritual life also. As nowadays everyone is talking about spirituality, as a student, I want to know yours. You should not want to know mine, because that's the thing. I was talking to a friend the other day. I was in ISRO with this guy. This guy was like my roommate for a while, and he's one of the most open-minded people I've ever met. And we used to talk about our religious beliefs all the time. And I used to think in a certain manner, and he used to think in exact opposite, right? Like one of us believes in God and one of us does not. To people who have been following me for a long time, they know which one I am, right? But we used to just talk in the most sensible manner. Nobody raises voice. We are both open to our opinions, and we used to talk a lot. And 2 days ago, what he said in that long conversation, like whenever I call him, we talk for an hour. So in that long conversation, he said that religion is so much for ourselves. Like nobody should ever even be asking others religion. Religion is not for someone else. It is for yourself. That's what he said. I don't want to take credit because literally it's his words. And that made so much sense to me. I think religion or spirituality or whatever it is, it was made for yourself, for your own growth. And then at some point, it turned into this group thing. Like I belong to this group, and humans generally have a tendency to do that. Like this is my community, this is my group, this is my religion, this is my belief. The same thing happens with freaking vegans, man. Oh, we are all vegans. We are all caring about the planet. Oh, we all drive electric vehicles. Oh, we are all moving towards sustainable future. Oh, we are all anti-nuclear power, or we are all pro-nuclear power. When I say nuclear power, I mean like nuclear generated, like nuclear reactors which are used to generate nuclear energy. Germany just went out and shut down all of their nuclear power plants. So it can be any form of ideology, any kind of belief, but these beliefs are for yourself, and eventually it turns into a group thing. And that's, I think, I'm sorry, Manish, but I think that's what it is. Why do you want to know my beliefs? Why do you want to know my religious or spiritual belief? It does not matter, because it is for myself. It should never matter to any of us what is someone else's belief. And I know it now because I think 5 years ago, I did talk about this in quite some detail. And that's why I'm saying that people who have been following me for a long time know my beliefs. But I'm not going to go ahead and say it again ever, because it doesn't freaking matter. Next question by Theo Theroni. As an author, what's your take on reading books? Do you read any? This is going to sound really strange. I don't read much books, but I have spent time reading books a little more than what an average person did in the past 20 years. Like in the past 20 years, averagely how much a person read books in the presence of social media and all, I think I've read a little more. One of a few of the books that I've read very diligently multiple times before writing the book, The Boy Who Did Not Sign, where ISRO, A Personal History by former SHAR Director Armudan. Ready to Fire by, I don't remember the writer. Dr. Naminarayan was not really the writer. I don't even know. Okay, let me find out. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I don't know if Naminarayan is doctor. Because I don't know if he has a PhD or not. He did go to Princeton. Oh yeah, he does have a PhD. I think it might be an honorary PhD that he got. Let me just confirm that for myself. Oh no, he never got an honorary PhD, because I believe Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, okay, I don't need to believe, you say Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, because he got an honorary PhD. Was that Annamalai University? Probably. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, Ready to Fire, which is the espionage story of Naminarayan sir. And I read it very well. It was really nice. Then I also read Ready to Fire, which is by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Again, I don't think he was the writer. Someone else wrote it for him, his life stories. So I read those 3 books well. And then I read couple of normal rom-com kind of books, but never took reading very seriously. And then I wrote the entire book, not much influenced by much of reading because I did not do much. But then I kind of reached a plateau as a writer, and I felt like I was not growing, right? I felt like as a writer, I'm just the same. And the main reason why I was not reading much of the books, but still was writing a book, was because when I wrote this book or was writing this book, my main objective was for it to turn into a movie. I don't want to hide it. That was my idea. That is how I wrote this book. That was my thought process. Like, this is basically a script of a movie. And that is why I never felt the need to read a lot of books, because it might sound crazy, but I was feeling that I'm not really writing a book. I'm writing a script for a movie. And that is the objective. Later found out the harsh reality. It is extremely difficult for this book to be turned into a movie. I'm still trying. I converted this whole book into a screenplay too, which is something that is an objective constantly. But yeah, that's why I did not read a lot of books, because that was my thought process. But eventually when I reached this plateau as a writer, that okay, I've written this book, this book is pretty good, but my next book is supposed to be even better. And then I was at that plateau for 6 to 8 months, and then I started reading some of the books, and immediately my writing style became better. I could see it. People closest to me who actually get to read the initial drafts, they found it. Oh, what is this new way of writing, Ashish? This is like completely different. This is so much better than your previous works. And I felt that, and that's why I started reading more. That gives me an idea of how to write a particular sequence. Earlier, my way of writing, and I think people who have read a lot of books, when they start reading The Boy Who Did Not Sign, I bet they feel that this way of writing is a little bit different. It is not a conventional way of writing what they have read in other books, and the main reason for that is that it is developed from scratch, from a person who had no formal education to become a writer, right? I did not train to become a journalist or a writer or an English major. I did not do that. So it is like very much raw, built from the scratch kind of writing. And I would always think oh, this is a good way of writing it if it was a movie. And whenever I would watch a good movie, I would see how I could turn that into something I would depict in a book. I'm happy that I went that route, but when I started reading more books, It helped me improve my way of writing a lot. To answer your question, what other books have read? So these are the other two books that I've been trying to, like I said, first of all, the three books that I named, they were not fiction novels. They were all autobiography. That's why a way someone writes an autobiography is very different than the way you would write a fiction novel. And I wanted to write a fiction novel. So I had to build my own amateur, but still hard work for 5 years kind of way of writing. And then, like I said, I always took my inspiration from movies. So I did reverse engineering and found out what were my favorite movies, which were actually books. So two of my favorite movies were number one, Fight Club, and number two, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. There are a few movies which I like even more, which does not really have a book. So I could not read it. I'll talk in a minute what I'm doing for those movies. But I started reading these books and instantly found a bump in my writing. So I started reading book for writing. So I don't really read books to basically learn something. That's never an objective, or self-improve or something like that. But I do read books to improve my writing. But here's what I was saying, like I'll talk about it soon. Something that I do in terms of reading, which is way more than I read books, is that I read a lot of screenplays. And if you don't know what is screenplay, then you're probably watching a lot of Bollywood movies. And I do not say that in derogatory sense that Bollywood movies do not have a screenplay. The reality is that Bollywood movies do not have a screenplay. It really does not. I know this because there are a lot of Bollywood movies that I like, but when I search the screenplay of it, I cannot find it. On the other hand, if I just search like a screenplay of Hateful Eight, I'll find it and I will be able to read it. So I have read couple of dozen screenplays at least, and I needed it very much because, like I said, I've been writing the screenplay of The Boy Who Did Not Sign. If you do not know what screenplay is basically set of dialogues that are used. This is basically script of a movie. So actors and directors will use the script to make a movie. It does not have a lot of narration. It has mostly dialogues. I think that if I published that script just as a screenplay for people to buy somewhere, got a publisher and publish it, the fans of The Boy Who Did Not Sign would still want to read it. Because when I started writing screenplay, I found it that writing a book is so much different than making a movie. You just hit so many different things. For example, I read an extract of this book not 20 minutes ago, right? That would never be in a movie. That would never make it to a script unless you are having a narrator in your movie, which I hate. That's not the best way of making a movie. So there's so many different things. There's so many things that never made it to The Boy Who Did Not Sign, but will be appropriate for the screenplay, because you just hit different things in a movie and you hit different things on a book. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of reading. And I think that it helps me a lot to become a better writer. But that's the only reason I read a lot. No other reason. Self-help books, I don't read it. I think I listened to David Goggins' Never Finished. And I think I've listened to both of his books. They're pretty good. And a lot of people will make fun of self-help books like that. They're just in good points in their life. The day life turns to shit, you like that content. So they're pretty good. David Goggins is really admirable in that sense that he never really sold out to social media. He just does his stuff, comes back and shares his story and experiences and goes back, right? I have tried some other self-help books, like what was that Jordan Peterson's book, 12 Rules to Life or something? Dude, I did not like that at all. You can get one free audiobook if you just register, right? And that is the book that I bought for free. And I don't know if I'm not intellectual enough or what, but I did not like it as a content that should be able to help you improve your life. I did not see any point of it. And a lot of people talk in that sense when it comes to like books like A Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, a rich guy versus a rich dad versus poor dad, things like that. Like, yeah, they are New York Times bestseller and sold millions of copies and all. In terms of helping a random person, I don't really know. All right, so yeah, I tried reading many books too, which I just mentioned. I did not like it, so I did not finish it. I was again listening on audiobook Accessories of War by Neil deGrasse Tyson, and that was really good, like in sense of the information that it gives you. And I think I read another one of his books, but yeah, I do not read a lot of fiction novels, which I think I should start doing. If you have some recommendations, put it down in the comment section. I'll definitely take a look. But right now, my main motivation for reading books is just that it helps me improve my writing in a way, like what to put in your book and what not to. Like, a lot of things that comes in my books are from my past experiences, but what out of that should be in a book, what out of that should be in a screenplay, or if it is a completely fictional scene, what to put over there to convey the message. Reading helps me a lot. Okay, that was definitely not rapid fire, man. Come on, when it comes to writing, you see how much your boy loves writing, man. Cannot stop talking about it. All right, going to give you some value now. Here are two more questions, and let's hope I can cover both of them. This one is from Ashlisha Dubey. Sir, I understood a lot about how to study from your channel. Thank you so much. Can you please explain how to manage multiple things at once and how to prioritize while making a to-do list? All right. When it comes to priority of to-do list, it's fairly simple. Like, the things that you really need to be done first comes on top. For example, if you're having a semester examination in 2 days, the top priority is covering the syllabus of that. So understand which one is needed first, which one is needed later. Like, I had a to-do list for this day, and out of that, one was to replace my car's cabin air filter. Right, and I drive an MX-5. Some of you guys saw it, and dude, the freaking dissectomy you have to do to change the cabin air filter in Mazda Miata ND2 is so insane. You have to take out the entire IP trim and bunch of harnesses to just reach the cabin air filter. And to those who owns a car, if you know how cabin air filter is changed, even if you have driven your car for 20,000 kilometers or so, you know this, that it is behind the glove box. You just take it and replace it, because I was driving a Hyundai Sonata before this. It was so simple. So the point is that it's going to take me at least an hour, right? And I wanted to do it today, but there were other things more important, like recording this podcast. So cabin air filter can wait for next week. It is not to the point where I'm going to get freaking breathing infection or something. I don't even know what kind of disease you can get. But it will do for now. So that is the priority list. Like, I want to do it, but can I do it? If no, then all right. Workout was important, so I did work out this morning. That was on my top list, because recently I've not been working out as much as I would want to. I freaking take off my shirt and say that, God damn, man, you're the one who wrote about Ashwin Tash. Get back to work. Okay, anyways, so that's how the priority works. I think the first question is more important, which I really want to discuss, like how to manage multiple things. And this is where it becomes very counterintuitive. It is counterintuitive, especially for people who want to do a lot. Like, people who want to do a lot. And this is not a problem that will ever arise for people who really don't want to do a lot. The people who want to do a lot also do not understand that all of this cannot be done right now. Like, this is going to take some amount of time, and they do not understand that part. That is going to take some amount of time. Hold on, I'm going to fix this. So things are going to take time. So if you are doing a lot of things, I also expect you to have a lot of patience. Just be patient that, okay, this is how much I'm going to do today. Yesterday I spent like 4 hours to do taxes, which means that there would be something that I will not be able to do, say cooking. So that's fine. Let's do it tomorrow, but understand that I'm going to do so many things. Yesterday I spent about 6 hours writing. Today I was able to spend 0 hours writing, which is fine. I'm going to spend more time tomorrow, but I'm doing so many things, I need to distribute it properly. And again, some things are more important, like doing the taxes right now is important, so I'm going to do it. If it is not important, I'll be writing. So understand that when you're doing too many things, the amount of time that you're having still remains the same. And say you're having 12 hours a day, which you'll be able to invest. If you do 30 different things, you can do it all at the same time. But the thing is that it will take some time. Like, I'm doing so many things, and also I'm writing a book. Maybe I'll be able to publish it this August, but if not, that is fine, because I'm doing it with so many other things. I'm only able to invest like 4 hours a day or so much. When I was writing The Boy Who Did Not Sign in the final drafts, I was able to invest whole day. I just took out 2 months of my time and invested it over here. So maybe I'll have to do that, or I have to come in agreement that it will be published this year or maybe next year, but that's fine. And that's also to answer some of your questions. People who have been asking like when I'm going to publish the next book. I'm trying. Update, I'm right now in my seventh draft. Freaking second draft. Right now I'm on my 7th draft. Second draft was more than a year ago. Moving towards my 8th draft. The story is pretty much built, but I also want to polish it. Maybe this year, maybe next year. I don't want to rush it, just like Grand Theft Auto. Okay, moving to the next one. But yeah, please describe, if you do not have a good rank, what criteria you should consider before getting into a tier 2, tier 3 college, which will enhance your chances of getting a good placement. Number 1, the first criteria is that, is the university offering you the branch that you would want to study? Like if you want to study mechanical engineering, which is the best university which is providing you that? That is the first criteria. The second criteria should be placements actually. Like if you have no interest, like I don't care Ashish, it is mechanical or computer science engineering, all I care about is placement, then go to the college and the branch which is going to give you the best placement. If not, first criteria, which is the college which is going to give me the branch and which college has the best placement, I'm going to go with them, right? The third criteria should be, where is the college at? Like some of the colleges are so good, but they're so much in the outskirts that the exposure to the students is very limited. Like if an average college is in Delhi, you have so much exposure to competitive examination resources and such a massive like union of students over there, and you can develop software skills, you can connect with companies, you can find out ways to prepare for MS abroad or CAT or GATE or UPSC. There's just so much more exposure. Same goes with like cities like Pune. There's just more companies over there. Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, it's just more exposure. And you meet more people, it's just more coalition or concentration of students, and it's just more exposure in simple words. So that is also a very important criteria. But if you're going for second or third tier college, generally placements are not going to be outstanding. So what is more important is that you start you start working towards a bypass for the placement. Like what will you do if you don't really have good campus placements in that particular year when you're graduating? One very important factor is finance. So Some universities like MIT, VIT, main Manipal, like in Mangalore, I studied in a Manipal University as well, but that was in Sikkim, and that is not nearly as costly as, for example, the one in Mangalore. I don't know about Jaipur, might have skyrocketed by now, but Sikkim is a lot cheaper because it's Sikkim. Not many people want to go over there. So I don't know why. It's a beautiful place though. Coming back to the point. Finance is definitely important. I would not say that if it is taking twice as much money to go to a university which is just a brand name, because most of the time those are second tier universities, the placements are not great, and also it takes so much more money, and that might be an issue for most of us, might not be an issue for you, in which case fine, go to a more expensive university. It probably will give you a good placement and also might be in a good place, and also many good students might come in, but that is like third criteria or so, right? So yeah, if you can save expense, for sure, like it's 4 years of undergraduation, and chances are if you're going to second or third tier college, if you're going to make a good career, it is mostly going to depend on what you do in those 4 years, not where you do. And when I say where you do, I mean which university you do, not where, in which city. City is important. Like I said, if you are in a good city, you will have more opportunities of finding out a job, finding out skills to get a job outside the university. That's why I'm saying that being in a good city is good, and that's the reason why Sikkim Manipal might not be as expensive, and that's a problem I faced when I was in Sikkim. Like I even faced problem of getting gate notes over there. I had to get it all the way from Delhi, so it becomes difficult. I've not been in that university for freaking 9 years now. Sounds strange to say, so things might have changed, but I'm just giving an example based on my experiences. Okay, so that should be it. That should be good for today's podcast. I'm happy that I was able to do it. Thank you for the support, guys. I'm hoping that I'm able to help you guys out by some way, shape, or form. You can find links to my book, The Boy Who Did Not Sign, down in the description box, and all the other important links will also be in the description box. If you're comfy in the language of Hindi, which is my mother tongue as well, my second podcast, Momentum Podcast, goes on my Hindi channel as at Ashish Tork Hindi. Links will be down in the description box as well. There's so many people who complain that I do not make content in Hindi. Meanwhile, I made an entire YouTube channel for Hindi audience. Feel free to go ahead and check it out. I'll see all of you in the next one. Till then, bye.